Hey, what's up, everybody? Chicago Gooner here, bringing another Arsenal talk. In this Arsenal talk, I'll be going over some disheartening news and, of course, a little bit of a Community Shield review, preview, I should say, before Sunday's game against Manchester City. To go on to the disheartening news first before I cover the Community Shield. There's a lot of rumors floating around right now that Mikel Arteta will be the new captain, club captain of Arsenal, and it will be announced possibly at the Community Shield or once Thomas Vermaelen gets sent over to Barcelona, possibly for 15 million pounds or 10 million pounds, whatever. I think 15 million was for Manchester United, and 10 million or something was like 10.3 million pounds from Barcelona, which is nice to see because we're not selling to a rival anymore. Maybe or hopefully that there's some kind of set rule now that will refuse any type of sale to a top four club or a top team in the EPL, unless we just think the player is total shit and won't help him at all and won't even come close to what we thought his potential would be. Um, so that's nice to see that. And I think it's just better for TV5 too to go to Barcelona. He'll have Champions League there. Of course, good club. He'll be fighting for the title. I'm sure he'll get into the side plenty. I can see. I don't know. Maybe he'll be the third choice again behind PK and Mascherano. Who knows if they're going to push up Mascherano back to his natural position, which is, CDM. Maybe they'll just put Vermaelen right next to PK because I don't know. I think, like I said, and I believe I said this in my last video, that I think PK is kind of overrated. I think he gets too much of high marks just because he's with Barcelona. Um, I think he really got called out in the in the World Cup over the group stage of how possibly overrated he is. I mean, he's still good at center back, but maybe not as good as what people perceived him to be. Um, but like I said, the disheartening news that Mikel Arteta might be the new club captain, and it's very disheartening just to basically saying that we're not going to be buying a DM in this window, which is why I just have like really no words almost. I don't even know how to react because I'm just pissed right now as a fan that we're going to have another year of Arteta being as our DM. Um, I don't know what Wenger's is even thinking about. Was he not there for the Manchester City game, Liverpool game, Chelsea game? Was he not there to see what happened? Was he not there in the first 8 minutes of the FA Cup final to see how vulnerable the back four is with Arteta as the DM? Yeah, Arteta's good against, say, bottom half teams and whatnot, but he's good that way because that bottom half teams are going to try to park the bus against us. They're going to play more defensive minded, so Arteta doesn't have to play that more of a defensive role. He can push forward. But with this news, it's just kind of like, it's really disheartening because there's, three names out there that we were linked with, Morgan Schneiderlin, Sammy Khedira, and then William Carvalho. And, we have the money to pay for William, which, reports are different from what Portugal newspapers are saying to what UK papers are saying, that if we're willing to pay all the money up front of the 24 million pounds or the 25 million pounds, that Sporting will take the bid. And then there's some reports saying that They won't settle for anything less than, I believe it's the, like the uh, something like 45 million euros or something like that for his buyout clause, which is ridiculous. But when you're in desperate need of a player like that to have that defensive mind, because even in the Manchester City game, Flamini was the DM for that game, and as far as a DM goes, and as far as playing that role, I I rate obviously Flamini higher than Arteta of playing that role of being that defensive-minded midfielder that you want. And even in that game, Flamini was just he got taken to the woodshed pretty much during that game. Both him and Ramsey. I mean, him and Ramsey were very vulnerable. They didn't know what was going on. Yes, we were coming off a Champions League game, but at the same time, the guys looked tired, like in the beginning of the game. But that's how we started against a lot of the top four last year. Um, you can even take the Everton game as well at Goodison Park, of how vulnerable we looked, of how out of sync we looked, especially in that middle of the park where that's where you need that DM to be front and center and to make his presence known, to where Arteta he just doesn't have that discipline to play that role. He has too much of that central midfielder, attacking midfielder in him, that he forgets who he is or what his role is, as far as the team, as far as the team goes, of playing against a Chelsea, against a Liverpool, against um, a Manchester City. So it's really disheartening to think that if he's going to be the club captain, okay, he's 32 right now. Uh, in March he'll be 33. Making him the captain, I'd rather see Mertesacker be the captain, to be honest with you. I think he commands more. Arteta talks to the referees a lot, but it's mostly complaining to the referees. Um, to where Mertesacker really has a stranglehold on players. You kind of saw that in the Manchester City game when Ozil was just walking off the pitch instead of going over to the supporters and thanking them for coming and everything like that. He just walked off the pitch, and Mertesacker got right in his face and said, you better go over there and and show them respect and thank them for coming uh, all the way up to Manchester to see us play and stuff like that. Um, so it's really disheartening, to think that if he's going to be club captain, that means there's going to be no DM coming in at all. There's reports saying that Wenger still is not done in the window. That he's looking for a player that can play both the DM spot and cover for center half. The only person that fits that description out of the guys that we're going for is William. That's it. Kadir, I've never seen him cover for a center half position ever, especially with Madrid. I've never seen him play that role. Morgan Schneiderlin, never seen him play that role either. Um, so I'm not understanding why you're making, especially a 32-year-old, a club captain, who, may or may not be with the club next season again. Are we playing musical chairs here with club captains? I mean, this is, with TV5 leaving possibly, this is going to be our third club captain leaving in the last 4 seasons. So again, that's kind of disheartening to think that how much does Arteta have really left? Um, you got to think after this season, he's just going to basically be like a squad player. He should be a squad player already, in my opinion, because we have the money. Even with the sale of TV5, that's more extra money coming in. Say we sell him off for 10 million pounds. Maybe 7 or 8 of that goes into the transfer kitty to buy more players. Um, you can almost look at it too if whether we're selling them for 10 or 15. You can you can look at it another way to that. We only bought Alexis Sanchez now for 22 million, but then you're looking throughout the window, and I think we've spent something around like 60 to 65 million pounds in this window. Um, but then but I don't know if that's adding in all the money that we got back from um, Carlos Vela, Cesc Fabregas, now TV5. Um, we have all that money that was brought into the club during this window as well. So why don't we use that money that we're getting from TV5 and just tack it on to the William transfer, if that's even true, if that's even possible. If they want, 30 million pounds, that's 7 or 8 from TV5 that we can purchase at. If we have already put in a bid of 24 million pounds, add the 7 to it or add 6 to it, make it an even 30 million pounds. And I would be shocked if Sporting said no to that. Excuse me, Jesus. Because they're in financial crisis. Sporting is right now because of their new, or I shouldn't even say new, but their stadium that they built several years ago has put them in very heavy debt, and they've tried to raise ticket prices, and people just stopped coming. So they're really in heavy debt, and of course they got the third-party loan that's attached to William, which is ridiculous because the kid is only making something like £4 million, or not £4 million, something like £4,000 a month, which is ridiculous. I mean, you could probably throw 25 or 30 at the kid a week, and he'll grab it. He'll run. He'll want to come right to Arsenal in a heartbeat. Um, So why not add that money from TV5 and get that DM that we desperately need, instead of having Arteta be our club captain for what, maybe a year or two? Um, is Wenger molding out Aaron Ramsey as the future club captain? Because that's what you're going to have to do to keep him. I had said in one of my very first episodes of Arsenal Talk that there was an article written last May, or this past May, where Aaron Ramsey said he would fancy a move to Real Madrid or Barcelona. That those two clubs are mouthwatering, and if it's ever a good time to leave Arsenal at some point in time, that he would open that option to leave. So is Arteta just a kind of like a rental, kind of like how TV5 is? Was he just kind of like a rental club captain for the next maybe year or two to mold someone in to that role? Was TV5 just a club captain rental for possibly a Jack Wilshere? Up until the point to where Jack has been injured a lot. He's been not playing a lot over the last several seasons. Of course, then again with Jack's kind of lack of maturity on and off the pitch. Not that I really give a shit that he smokes or he has a cigarette every once in a while. Who gives a shit? Um, you can probably go to any bar in the world and you'll see someone who hates smoking or doesn't smoke at all has a cigarette in their hand because they're drunk, or they're partying a little bit. Everybody kind of does that, or everybody is probably, not everybody, but the majority of people have done that in their lifetime, to where they might have a couple drags off a cigarette, or they might have a cigarette because it makes them feel better. I don't know. I really don't care. But as far as Jack's attitude and maturity level on the pitch, he just doesn't have that yet. But is Arsene Wenger molding Aaron Ramsey and possibly being the future club captain? It's very possible. But at the same time, you rather have a guy who commands the field and the players like Mertesacker does. I'm not saying that Arteta doesn't, but it only takes a few bad games in a row for Arteta to be sat down on the bench, and it's just going to be TV5 all over again. I mean, how many games did he really have last year? Not that many. How many games have he had in the last 2 seasons? Not that many. Your club captain is basically sitting on the bench watching the game. When you need your club captain out on the pitch for the majority of the games for, 85% of the season. Because sometimes, players, when they need a lift, sometimes when players need a motivation, maybe they're having a bad game, you need that club captain to go over there, calm the guy down, to give him some motivation to play hard. Or maybe not to play hard, to forget about all the mistakes he possibly made in the game so far and just start with a clean slate. You need that from your club captain. So it's kind of disheartening. I'm not attacking Arteta as far as personally, because I just attacking anybody personally is ridiculous. I'm only giving my opinion of him as a player, and he's just not a DM. So it's really disheartening that it's very possible that we're not going to be getting a DM when that was the second most important position that we needed to fill in this transfer window. Striker was one, and then the DM was second. Some would say, well, right back. What about right back? Well, I don't give a fuck. You could have thrown Jenkinson and Berlin out there for this whole season. I wouldn't give a shit. Because I'd rather see that than Arteta playing 70-75% of the season at the DM spot. Because of those games, because of those past games. I don't want to see that crap all over again. And if he does become club captain, I think Arsenal fans should unite on Twitter and all send him a fucking message saying, if you are not within 5 yards of the fucking center halves, we're going to lynch you or something, because that's what he needs to do. We have enough attackers attacking the ball or attacking the other side. With the fullbacks bombing forward, with Aaron Ramsey bombing forward, and of course the wingers, the striker, and of course Ozil. We have enough of that. We don't need another person to run up into the opposing side, because it just creates too much congestion. There's not enough space for people to run into. And sometimes that's what Arteta does. He gets too far forward, and he really kind of fucks things up as far as spacing goes. Sometimes there's a nice pocket of space, and all of a sudden he runs into it, and all of a sudden another player's running into it, and now two players are clashing, and there's no space. There's no opportunity for a pass, or there's no opportunity for a goal chance or a shot on target, because Arteta's just moving too far forward. So it's really disheartening to hear that kind of news come out. And it seems like whenever either TV5 leaves or possibly at the Community Shield game, that's when Arteta will be announced as the new club captain. So going on to Community Shield, because I can't talk anymore about the Arteta stuff. Luckily, I'm kind of tired here from work and everything, and that I can't really dig into it and tell you how I really feel, because it just pisses me off. But going into Community Shield against Manchester City at Wembley on Sunday, can't wait for the game. It's going to be interesting to see what Wenger puts out there, and it's going to be interesting to watch how we really attack that game. Are we going to look at that game as a friendly, like it is? It's basically in the grand scheme of things, it's a friendly. It's an exhibition game. But with the shortened preseason, with the lack of games that we played in the preseason, with players still coming back, the Germans aren't due back until Monday. Of course, Giroud, Debuchy, the French players, along with Sanchez, they didn't come back until last Monday. so it's going to be interesting to see, who Wenger puts out there, and how he attacks the game. Are they gonna play it as, say, a Premier League season game? Are they going to play it as like a Champions League playoff match, which is is a short week and a half away, which they're playing a Turkish side, which I'm not going to even try to pronounce the name because I'll probably butcher it and say it wrong, and people get all over my case. So I'm just not going to just call them the Turkish side, which we should win. But um, I like to hear some people's starting 11. What I would like to see out of the starting 11, because it doesn't seem like Giroud, Jesus Christ, it doesn't seem like Giroud is going to get the start. He didn't look all that great in the game against Monaco. Of course, you couldn't really expect much from him, just being that it's his first game back. I'm sure you're going to see him in the second half of the Community Shield for sure. I could almost bet that he's going to be coming in around the 60th, the 70th minute, just to get him some minutes and to help him along a lot further with his fitness and with his match fitness. But what I would like to see is Sanchez playing as the lead striker. Um, with Santi playing behind him, of course. It could be either Santi or Jack. I'd rather see Santi playing as the attacking midfielder, number 10. Right wing, I have to go with the Ox. Left wing, would like to see Joel Campbell playing as left wing. Of course, with Ramsey playing as CM, the DM is obviously going to be Arteta. Then across the back line, you're going to see Debuchy, Chambers, Koscielny, and Gibbs, with Szczesny in the goal. Another way you can look at it is possibly that Sanogo is going to get the start at striker, with Sanchez playing on the right side and then the Ox playing on the left. If that's the case, then I want to see, of course, Joel Campbell and, of course, Giroud coming off the bench first. I think you're going to see those two guys basically coming off the bench first out of anybody, and and the third person would probably be Jack at some point, possibly. And of course, Wenger could probably just throw a complete curveball and play Jack as the number 10 and play Santi over on the left, which I hope. I love Santi. He didn't have the greatest of seasons last year, but I think you need to put him back into that number 10 role, to put him back into that attacking midfielder, because I think you're wasting him, wasting a possible a better winner in an Oxlade-Chamberlain, Joel Campbell playing on the left side, or when Theo comes back, if Giroud's going to be the main striker, once he gets his fitness back, if you're going to play, whether it's Theo or Sanchez on the right or Theo or Sanchez on the left, that's going to be the possibility. That's going to be one to look out for once Theo does come back, which is August 31st, supposedly, when he's due back. But, just going on to the Community Shield, I really hope they take this game seriously. It is for a trophy. Of course, the trophy, doesn't really, some people think it, stands at, like, it counts, and it doesn't. That it's considered as a trophy to start the season, that it's one of the main trophies you really have to go for. It could set the tone. It definitely could set the tone for the season. It could definitely give us a confidence boost, obviously, coming off the FA Cup final, winning that trophy, and then starting off the season with the trophy of winning the Community Shield. Of course, it didn't do any favors to Manchester United, obviously, last year, but of course they had to play Wigan, who obviously wasn't in form. Obviously they were a lot better when we faced them in the FA Cup semifinal. But that didn't do them any favors. That didn't really give them too much confidence at all, because of course, look what happened to them. They lost out on Champions League. They lost out on everything. Moyes got sacked, everything. But but I think it could set the tone early. I think they need to take this seriously. I think they need to go they need to go balls out for the first 60, 65 minutes with whoever the starting 11 is, and then maybe slowly bring in other players, whoever they might be, to finish out the game. Um, because I think they need to take this seriously, because this can really be a tune-up for this game, and of course next Saturday against Crystal Palace could really that's going to be um, our it's going to set the tone for going into the Champions League playoff, which is that Tuesday or Wednesday. I would have to check the fixture list and schedule of when they're playing. See if I can bring it up right now. If they even announce when they're playing, either if it's going to be Tuesday or Wednesday. It's Tuesday, August 19th. They're playing. Yeah, and then after that they play Everton away at Goodison Park, and then they play the second leg at home. Um, so it's going to be very important. I hope they really take this seriously. I hope they really go after it. I hope they really just go out there and win and have that winning mentality. Take what we did last year and go into this season on a high. We left last season on a high. Let's start this season on a high. Um, and I'll probably do a full season review, and who I think maybe will be our top three goal scorers, assist makers, player of the year. I'll do all those type of maybe predictions, and of what I think will, um, what will be at the end of the year, or where we will be placed at the end of the year. Um, with this Arteta news coming out today, that it is talked about, it's disheartening, and I'm really kind of like pissed off and down about it, because I really believed if we got like a Khedira or a Schneiderlin or a William, that we we could have won the league. Um, Maybe I'll look at it a little more clear head over the next few days, especially if they do play well against Manchester City. Obviously, Manchester City's not going to have. I don't think they're going to have Yaya Toure, I believe. I think Aguero's out again. That guy seems to always be hurt. Um, so I don't think they're going to have a lot of their main players back for that game, or even playing in that game, I think. Um, and so they have like 3 or 4 guys that are going to be missing for that game completely. Or at least 3 or 4 starters. At least that's what they say. We'll see when the game actually is being played, and see what they actually throw out there against us. But if we got that DM, that I think that we could have really pushed forward and definitely won the league. Of course, if we stayed injury free, um, and that's a big if. Um, but I think we can win this game. I think we can beat Manchester City. I'm thinking of more of somewhere around the, it's going to be around like I think a 3-2, maybe even like a 4-3 type of game. Um, I'm hoping it's not another like crazy shootout like it was up in Manchester City last season, where it was just like goal after goal, going back and forth, going back and forth. Yeah, it was an exciting game, but at the same time, it was just like, uh, you know, you saw so many different flaws and weaknesses that Arsenal had last year, just off of that Manchester City game last season. Um, of course, they did come to the Emirates and we tied, but I think that was a tactical error by Pellegrini of why they went to like a 4-2-3-1, I believe, for that game, instead of having two strikers up top, like they're normally playing all season, and they were just thumping teams left and right. No team could really contend with them when they played two strikers up top. So it's going to be interesting. Are they going to play two strikers up top, or are they going to go with the one striker? I think that if they go with the one striker in the Community Shield game, I think the advantage goes to us, regardless of not having Mertesacker back there. I think it'll be a great test for Callum Chambers. Of course, it'll help Koscielny get back into form as well. Really help Debuchy, and it'll just help everybody kind of push forward, I hope. And I hope for that Crystal Palace game. I hope by then, regardless if they do win or lose on Sunday, that I hope by the Crystal Palace game that all pistons are firing, that all cannons are locked and loaded and ready to shoot, so to speak. Um, because it's just unlike any other season. With this World Cup, with screwing everything up. Chances are you won't even see Mesut Ozil in the Crystal Palace game. Chances are you might not even see him in the first Champions League playoff game, possibly. He might be sitting on the bench at least, but chances are you might not even see him there. In playing in those games, he might be coming in as a substitute to get it, a few minutes here and there if the game is in hand, hopefully. But that's kind of a concern of how Arsene is going to handle, Mertesacker and Ozil and Lucas Podolski, because who knows, they might not be back up to full strength until the end of the month, which is, of course, it's always concerning. You're seeing that basically all across Europe right now, of all the top teams, whether it's Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, any of the EPL teams. You're seeing a lot of players coming back late, and they're not going to be match fit. They're not going to be, hopefully they had some type of discipline that where they worked out, they ran a little bit to be in somewhat decent shape, instead of not being in shape at all. And they're really hoping that they can get back into form in 1 week, which is impossible. But like I said, I hope they take this game seriously. I think Arsene will take it seriously. Hopefully the players are really up for it. They look at it as another possible trophy, and that they can, another notch in the belt, another step forward into what this Arsenal team could really be, not only this season but in the future. That we can become dominant again in the EPL, and we're not going to just be a kicking boy, or the butt of everybody's joke of saying predictions for next year. Of course, everything's blank, and of course, Arsenal's always fourth. I'm getting kind of sick of that, and I hope Arsene Wenger's getting sick of that. I hope the players are kind of getting sick of that. That we need to start moving forward. We need to start thinking bigger and better. This, like I said, like this Arteta news is kind of disheartening, because it doesn't show that we have ambition, that we want to push forward, that we want to win the title, that we want to be the best in the EPL, that we want to be the best in Europe, because Arsenal, Arteta is just not that guy. I've loved what he done for the club. I love that he loves Arsenal and all that kind of stuff. But when it comes down to brass tacks, we want to win. We want to win trophies. We want to win the league consistently. We want to be contenders for the league title consistently. And unless he turns over a new leaf, unless he becomes a completely different player this year, I just don't see it happening, and it's just kind of disheartening. But I'll cover all that type of stuff in like a season review. But I'm just gonna end it here, and I'll have a match review hopefully on the Community Shield on Sunday night. Possibly I'll be throwing another Arsenal talk out there, and have a good weekend, and hopefully we win, and that'll be it later.